News you need. Watch the News Center at 6 and 10.
KTTC News Center Today continues with Jess Abrahamson, Jacob Murphy, and meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
Good morning. You're watching News Center Today. I'm Jacob Murphy.
And I'm Jess Abrahamson. Good morning. Coming up, the coldest wind chills of the millennium are here. Brutal temperatures not to mess around with. Plus, we're going to get the latest from MnDOT after they actually had to pull their plows off the roads because of cold.
And later, imagine booking a January flight to Minnesota. You know it's going to be cold, but not this cold. We're getting passenger reactions from Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport.
Many of those arriving back after a nice warm vacation somewhere. Not easy to come home to this, Ted.
Yeah, it's always a trick coming back from any trip in winter, because you never know what you're going to end up with when you come back from the trip, you know, and what kind of conditions you'll have. And today it's not so much the travel conditions, aside from the flying concerns and airports they're having with this type of cold, but at least the wind gusts have diminished a bit, not as much of the blowing snow. So that is the one positive thing we're talking about this morning. Otherwise, very cold. Here's a look outside with our Lewiston Auto Skycam for the studio. Here are the wind gusts. We're talking 22, 23 miles per hour. Still definitely a raw wind, but not the 30 to 40 mile per hour winds we had last night, yesterday afternoon. So definitely better in that regard. Charles City now 23 miles per hour, Albert Lea 22. Temperatures right now 29 below in Rochester, Albert Lea 27 below zero, Charles City 27 below, and La Crosse, they too are in the mid-20s below zero. Those are the temperatures. Wind chill now, 58 below in Rochester, Mason City 57 below, and Cresco 56 below. We have a lot of sun ahead of us. Look at how quiet the radar, or satellite and radar together, clear at this point. Plenty of sunshine today. Likely dropping another couple degrees to around 31 below, then climbing to 19 below zero. That's the high. That'll be a record for today. From here, it gets better. You know, it can only get better. Anyway, we'll talk about a warm-up in the 7-day in a few minutes. In the meantime, let's go back inside to the much warmer studio.
It can only get better. Yeah, that's our motto for today. The last 20 winters in Minnesota have never been this cold.
Rochester is colder right now than many places north of the Arctic Circle, but so what does 30 below feel like? We have our own Keelan Fitzgerald outside on the weather patio as well with that answer. Good morning, Keelan.
Good morning, Jacob. It feels awful out here. I mean, you don't really understand how cold it is until you really step outside. I know those double-digit negatives seem jarring, but it's really difficult to comprehend how much this cold really cuts to the bone. I got a little science experiment right here. I got warm water in this cup and room temperature in this cup. They're both frozen solid, and I set them out here about a half hour ago. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. On top of that, the American Lung Association recommends you don't take deep breaths if you do get caught in this weather, and try to avoid talking if that's possible. If you do have to go outside, make sure everything is covered, because anything that's not covered will be feeling the bite, will be feeling the pain. I'm talking face masks, goggles if you have them, a scarf to place over the nose and mouth to warm up the air before you suck it into your lungs. All of that and extra layers are things you want to take into account on this very cold morning. Reporting live from the weather patio, Keelan Fitzgerald, KTTC News Center.
It sure is. Thank you, Keelan. Come on inside.
Yeah. So even with these dangerously low temperatures, some folks just can't avoid being out in the weather.
We went to Trails Travel Center in Albert Lea to see how truck drivers are dealing with the brutal cold.
I'm from Florida. It's too cold. I'm going home.
I can understand how he feels that way. With these frigid conditions, the service center is busy. Shop manager Roger Swanson says they had 3 service trucks out consistently all Tuesday morning. It is expected to be busier today. With temperatures this low, he's encouraging truck drivers to keep their equipment running if they can. Even Minnesotans are struggling in this brutal cold. What about those outside of the frozen tundra?
Well, we see guys hop out with shorts and tennis shoes sometimes. And they say, darn, it's cold. So we have insulated pants, plus long johns, 3 pair of socks, long shirt, sweatshirt, and this nice jacket, 7 layers of blankets on my bed. So it's, you know, we're going to stay warm.
In this kind of weather, always have a phone charger and an emergency kit in your car. And if you're on the road and need to pass a truck, Pitt urges everyone to give them at least a truck length of room. MnDOT snowplows are used to working in the most extreme weather conditions, but this near record chill is